What I share with you today, maybe it plants some idea inside of you, maybe it registers someplace with something that you already know, that you're impulsed to awaken in yourself, and maybe you're afraid, maybe you don't understand it, maybe you're concerned that you'll change too much. I believe in change, and I believe that the survival of the species and the transformation of the planet involves tremendous change. The message that the Pleiadians give is one of understanding the isolation that the human species has been locked within. They call the present version of the human species modern man, saying that basically we spring from an experiment that began about 500,000 years ago, and that the gods that created us are extraterrestrial beings who in reality have forgot their own gods, and these extraterrestrial beings are going through their own process of change at this time, and because they created us, because we're a part of how they learn, we're involved and they're involved in this time of coming together. What the Pleiadians have taught me is that this coming together, this collapsing of time, this merging of consciousness that's taking place between all species on the earth plane has to do with something that is going to create, let me see how I can put it, a new geometric thought form, a new geometry of being that's literally going to move through our universe and change the entire course of our universe. They have told me and told the people that they speak to that the human species genetically has very different organizational structure than we've been led to believe. They said that the evolving human, the human that will emerge on this planet, will have 12 strands of genetic material, and these 12 strands of DNA will activate within the human full brain capacity. This is something that is quite a lot to consider, and yet I can say in the last few years of working with these energies that the process has begun to take place inside of me. I've changed. I have abilities that I did not have before. I have understandings that I never had before, and I have assistance that's based on non-physical presence that I know is always with me. And I feel that the message I'm led to share with you is that these beings are around all of us, and that if you would relax and if you reconsider who you are, you can open to this very wonderful relationship that's really a relationship with another form of yourself.
Only a few of
The Pleiadians have always worked through me and around me as a presence. I do not have what most people would call physical contact. I've never really seen ships, even though in 1981, when I was living in Taos, New Mexico, I awoke from a sleep state in complete panic because there were 3 blue extraterrestrials in my bedroom hovering or putting their hands above my bed. So I had that contact in 1981, and I never forgot it. I labeled it a dream, but I always knew it wasn't a dream. And the beings were small and very bright blue and kind of almond-eyed. And when I began channeling the Pleiadians, I remembered that event in 1981, and I knew that extraterrestrials, that other life forms were real. And that's what gave me the courage, the belief to allow these beings who said they were from the Pleiades to speak through me. During the course of our friendship and our sharing of my body, they've taught me so many things. And what I'm wanting to share with you today is that the search for extraterrestrials that people are impulsed to follow is a search that's very complex. It's not necessarily spaceships appearing in the skies or beings landing or showing up in your bedroom. what I'm discovering is that the merging with the gods returning to Eden, has to do with an infusion of our consciousness, understanding that other forms of intelligence can blend their consciousness with ours. We can learn to blend ours with theirs, and we come into a whole new level of operating on the planet. The basic message that the Pleiadians that work through me offer is that thought creates reality. They say they come from the future, and they have learned how to penetrate what they call the corridors of time and ride different webworks of time, and they've come into our reality to teach us about something that we need to change, that we need to implant within our basic values of life. And this is what they've given me, the gift that they've given me of restructuring, a revaluing of who I am. It's not been easy, definitely. I've changed so much that sometimes it's very difficult for me to relate to people and the ideas that they have not questioned over the years. The ideas that are instilled with us from the time we're children based on fear, our religious institutions, our educational systems. They never teach us to honor and love ourselves and to understand the mystery of the body first. And then understand that the mystery of the body and the mind ends up reflecting itself and creating itself in the outside world. Part of my instruction at this time has been to speak openly so that others don't feel that they're going crazy, so that others can understand that there is this infusion of off-planetary intelligence coming to merge with our consciousness. Many of these beings have no idea how to make contact with us because we've been so programmed to fear and programmed to interpret what we don't understand as something that would be bad. And unfortunately, we've been lost in this paradigm of thought that we are the most intelligent species that exist. And I believe that we're one of millions or billions, and that the earth is now being reopened. The doorways that will connect us to other forms of life are gently, and sometimes more than gently, sometimes with great collision. These avenues of light, these avenues of thought are being opened so that we can change.
Good afternoon. We are here. It is our pleasure to be in your reality once again. We are, of course, the Pleiadians, and as we've said, it is our pleasure to be here at this time to communicate with you, to give you an opportunity to understand our energy and who we are. This one that speaks through us, we call her our vehicle. She has given you an opportunity to listen to her interpretation of what she feels is taking place as a result of our contact with her. We would like to share with you for a few moments what we feel is taking place. You are sitting in what is called as a species on your planet in a crack in time. You are integral as humans to events that will change the entire course of the history of the universe that you occupy. This restructuring of Prime Creator's creations has to, let us say, it is accelerated in certain places that are pockets. Your Earth is one of these pockets. In actuality, your Earth is a library. It was originally designed as a place to store and hold tremendous amounts of universal data. You have occurring at this time what is called the return of the gods. Who are these gods? For eons it was understood that the gods came from space. Yet only recently, in your very short memory, have you separated these gods thinking that the gods of the religions had nothing to do with what lie in the great cosmos outside of your planet. Now ideas are being fused together within the human species, and you are beginning to understand that the story of who you are and the place you occupy in existence is much grander than anyone ever dared to tell you. The big secret that has been kept from the human race. Well, it is no big secret any longer. You are surrounded by thousands, hundreds of thousands of forms of intelligence, millions of forms of intelligence in actuality that are magnetized to the earth plane at this time, because you, as a human species, must transmute yourselves. You must move into an entire new consideration, a reorganizing of your basic assumptions of reality. This is not so easy. It is challenging. There will be much chaos that will come first in order to bring about this restructuring. Many of you are confused and do not understand what is taking place. The best advice we can give to each of you is to go inside, to listen, to become like the child, full of wonder.